Legion isn't just one spirit or personality. It's a whole swarm that takes over. So most spirits will try to dominate or tempt or accuse you. But Legion does something different and darker. It breaks down your sense of self. And it's something that where you can't tell where it begins or ends. Luke 8:30 has that famous line that says, "My name is Legion, for we are many." So someone that may be dealing with Legion can't sort out their own thoughts. They have trouble figuring out which thoughts are theirs. And it digs through trauma and fear and shame, and maybe even years of abuse. And by making you disconnect from yourself and who you are, it's a setup for addiction, falling into cults, getting stuck in abusive relationships, and even letting authoritarian type people control you. And even for self-destruction. In the Bible, when you name a spirit, you call it out for how it works. When Legion says we are many, it's admitting the person has lost their sense of oneself. But Christ doesn't just kick Legion out. He restores wholeness. After the person sits there and becomes whole again, Legion can't survive when someone is whole. It's not like a horror movie version. Legion works on who you are in different crowds. It makes you lose your sense of identity and falling into cult-like thinking in a mind state and disassociation. Legion is the demon of a split mind. It falls apart when someone speaks the truth, remembers who they are, and brings their mind and their body back together. And I want to bring up Legion versus other demons. Mammon enslaves through desire. Asmodeus enslaves through lust. Baal enslaves through authority. And Moloch enslaves through sacrifice. But Legion enslaves through fragmentation. This is why Christ brings peace of mind and not just forgiveness. Legion isn't just a simple madness. It's a division turned into a weapon, splitting you apart from the inside. And it rules as long as you're fragmented. The moment you become whole, Legion it's gone and disappears. Research shows that the mind does not shatter, that it splits. And this is what they call structure dissociation. And I want to pull this up. So the mind splits. Structural dissociation of the personality refers to a particular organization of the personality following trauma. And I have the reference. Parts theory. It combines systems thinking with the view that the mind is composed of relatively discrete subpersonalities or parts, each with its own viewpoint and qualities. And then last is trauma fragmentation. Overwhelming events shatter the survivor's sense of self, memory, and experience into disconnected nonverbal fragments, images, and sensations. And the healing requires a 3-stage nonlinear approach. You see it in My Name is Legion, for we are many, and that's Mark 5:9. And then in Mark 5:15, where you see the aftermath, those verses show what it's like before and after the mind splits. Legion is not about possession. It's about the mind divided. A house divided against itself cannot stand. And that's Mark 3:25. So I want to share this. So societies need shared memory, long-term planning, trust, coherent narratives. But in a society in legion mode, they cannot agree on reality, cannot coordinate, cannot solve complex problems, and becomes vulnerable to authoritarianism. So the real fight isn't people against people. It's all about holding on to a whole, solid self versus letting it shatter. That's the Legion story in today's world. And honestly, it's the soul crisis we're all living through. Integration is the answer. And simple routines, honest stories, reconnecting with your own memories, handling your emotions, finding the real community and meaning. These things will help you stay whole. If you know who you are, no one can pull you apart. Don't confuse chaos for depth, and don't mistake outrage for bravery. There are systems out there, media, politics, whatever, that thrive on you being reactive. They thrive on you being reactive and tired and broken inside. Instead, speak carefully and act on purpose and keep your heart steady. A future built by people who know themselves will always outlast a future ruled by fear and division.